Good evening, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of Panther Playback. I'm your host, Lauren Hunter, and we are broadcasting live here from the Circuit World of Blairsville. And joining me on the couch tonight, I have head coach Brian Allison of the Union County Panthers football team. And then I've got junior outside linebacker Noah Underwood, and then also senior center Drake Groves. So how are you guys all doing tonight?
Great. And you?
Doing great. I always like to start that off with that question, make sure everybody's doing okay. Now, before I forget, we go any further, I do want to thank Circuit World for letting us broadcast here tonight and to host our show here as well. And then also I want to thank Downtown Pizza and Pepsi for supplying the food and beverages. It was delicious, and I know that these guys appreciate it because I know that you guys come straight off the practice field and then come on over here to do the show. So we love having the pizza over here. It's a good incentive, right? You come over here and get some food. So before we go any further and just get in a little bit about the football game on Friday night, the Panthers did win over the Oglethorpe County Panthers 43-0, so we definitely want to talk about that big win on Friday night. But I also want to give everyone an idea of the region standings. The Panthers play in Region 8 Classification 2A, and they are still undefeated, 8-0 in the regular season overall and 5-0 in the region. They are tied with the Rabun County Wildcats for the first place spot in this region standings. Then following them, tied for the third place spot, are the Elbert County Blue Devils, I believe is their mascot, and then Putnam County. They are tied for that third place spot with a region record of 3-2. Then we've got Banks County following that with a region record of 2-3. Monticello with a region record of 1-4. Oglethorpe County with a region record of 1-4 as well. So those two are tied for that sixth place spot. And then finally, Social Circle rounding out the region there with an 0-5 region record. So again, you guys got a big win over Oglethorpe County on Friday night. It had to feel great to continue that winning record that you guys have got going so far, the undefeated record. We're super excited for you guys here. And now, Coach Allison, I know James he wasn't able to make it out on Friday night because he was feeling a little bit sick on Friday night. It's that time of year, but he did get us a game recap, but he didn't get a chance to interview you after the game, so I want to go ahead and get your initial thoughts on the game.
I thought we played really well on defense. Our guys stepped up, and I think we had given up one first down through the whole game. So I thought defensively we played really well. Offensively, we were a little bit made a few mistakes, I guess it would be the best way to say it. And, we still had over 400 yards offense and scored 43 points, but I felt like just a few mistakes here or there. I think it was more a frustration level for our offensive guys. We got inside the 20-yard line, I believe, 3 times and didn't score a touchdown. I think that brought on a little level of frustration for them. So, I thought our special teams did a really good job as well.
Great. Now, Drake, you play center, so you're on the offense out there. Do you agree with Coach that it was a little frustrating at first, getting sort of a slow start?
I think the offense is set such a high standard for us, and we didn't play our football game that we usually play, but we still come out with a win. We still put up 43 points. I think it was a great ball game with the circumstances that we had. So.
Right. Now, Noah, I know you play on offense, so I'm not going to leave you hanging out over there, but let's start with the obvious. Coach Allison, like you said, the defense played out of this world Friday night. So what do you think? Was that game planning, your players being at another level, weather, combination of all three?
I don't know. I think these guys have gotten better every week, and we've played really well now 3 weeks in a row. I think we've given up 14-7 and 0 points. So I think we've improved and done what we needed to do to be successful, give our offenses chances to score, and Noah once again played really good on the defensive side of the ball.
Mm-hmm. And Noah, I'm glad that you're here with us tonight because, as I was telling you before the show, James named you our Team FYN Sports Writers Player of the Week for the Panthers. So congratulations on receiving that award. Now, as I said with Coach Allison, defense just played absolutely phenomenal on Friday night. So tell us, what was some of the prep work that went into being able to play such a great game?
Well, we just practice every day like it's going to be Friday night, and we try to put our best effort in every day, and we go through everything and try to make it perfect no matter what the circumstances are, even if it's raining, which is a good thing for the defense usually.
Yeah, no, you guys have given up very few points throughout the entire season as a whole, which is also just great. You know, like I said, we're really excited here at Team F1 Sports that how well you guys have been playing and everything. Now, speaking also about the offense, Jonah Daniel, he became the first Panther, according to this research that we have, became the first Panther to rush for more than 1,000 yards since 2003. And he also made a big play from the linebacker position. So, Coach Allison, what do you think that means for your team's success going forward?
You know, it's really special to have a 1,000-yard rusher with him, and he's really taken, to me, a little bit of a load off the quarterback and the receivers, and has been able to tote the football when we've needed him to. And, you know, up on the front, our offensive line, they've done a nice job blocking for him, and it was good now that he's, I think Jonah's getting in a little bit better shape. More importantly, it's probably cooling off, allowing him to play a little bit more on defense. He did have a tackle for a loss, and it was a safety, and you know, he's a good football player. He does he has a great instinct, and we're very lucky to have him.
Now, do you plan to use Jonah some more on defense after seeing how he played on Friday night?
We've been planning on using him all along. We knew that he could do that, so we didn't have any doubt, and we're just kind of waiting for the right moment, and those moments are starting to come a little bit more and more.
Now, Drake, I want to ask you as well, since, again, you play on the offensive side of the ball, and I'm glad that we have somebody from the offensive side and from the defensive side so we can get both perspectives here. But now, you know, the weather probably played a little bit of a factor into, especially in your position, being a center. You know, you probably handle the ball just as much as anybody else. So really, like, what did you have to do to adjust to make sure that everything was going correctly on Friday night?
I mean, the rain didn't really affect me as much as it did everybody else. I mean, it's just go out there and play football to me. I mean, still snapping the same way. Didn't change nothing up. I mean, I had to switch towels a couple times, but it didn't. I don't think the rain affected us. I mean, we still ran the ball down the throat. I mean, it's the usual thing for us. I mean, we like running the football. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the more you practice, I know you guys probably hit it hard out there, so the more that you practice, obviously, the less you're going to be affected by a weather condition or something such as that. Now, also, speaking of offensive players coming up big on defense, Pearson, Sawyer, Jonah, and Sloan have all made impacts on both sides of the ball. So do you intend, Coach Allison, for them to keep working on offense and defense as you move on into this next game?
No, we work everybody. Noah played 3/4 of the ball game at Banks County at receiver. So we have several guys. Aaron Helton plays on both sides and has had significant time on the defensive line. He starts at offensive guard. Lance Patton has played both sides of the ball. So we have did you say Caden? Caden has had a couple of games where he's gotten a lot of defensive snaps as well. So we've got a bunch of guys that can play both sides of the ball, and that gives us depth, and that gives us an opportunity to be more versatile with what we're doing.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. It's great to have more players. The more players that you have that can play both ways, the more options that you have to be able to play them both ways.
Right.
So, Noah, you know, you're one of the players that Coach Allison just mentioned that's been playing a little bit both ways. You know, tell us sort of how do you do that, I guess, is really the best way I can think to ask this question. I mean, how do you go from playing defensive to all of a sudden getting back into an offensive set of mind?
Well, whenever you practice to be perfect on both of whatever you're doing. So at practice we have a crossover period, and you have to put your full effort into that, or whenever you do get in those crossover situations, you're not going to be able to play to your fullest ability and just staying in shape, because playing both ways does take more of a toll on you.
I gotcha. So now one thing that I'm hearing a lot from you guys is practice, how important practice is for you all. And I don't know, what is it? Do you practice 4 days a week?
Mm-hmm.
4 days a week. So, you know, tell us a little bit, what is practice like? Because even across the board, every time some different Panthers come in, they still talk about how important practice is. So, I mean, how important is it for you guys to get out there and make sure that everything is perfect before Friday night?
I think it's it's kind of a routine, honestly, now for us. It's just we know what we got to do. We know what we got to work on. We know what we got to game plan for Friday night. And I think all the guys are dead set on winning football games. So that's what we got to do to win football games. We're going to do it.
There you go. Got to get that win, right?
Mm-hmm.
And how about you, Noah? You have anything you want to add?
That's pretty much it.
No, Coach Allison, I want to check in a little bit. I know you had some players that have been injured, some banged up a little bit. It's that point in the season where, people start to get tired and everything. But, how is the team? What's the status of the team as far as health-wise?
No, we're pretty good. We got 3 guys shoulder injuries, and I'm not exactly sure. I think all 3 of them have a good chance to play Friday night with Josh and Aaron and Clayton Lester, and and then Kyle's still out this week with his foot ankle injury.
All right, well, definitely we want to wish them a speedy recovery. Now, with that being said, that's going to wrap up our first segment here of this week's episode of Panther Playback. When we come back, Coach Allison will still be here, and these 2 guys are going to stick around as well. They're having so much fun right now, they're going to stick around for a second segment. So don't go anywhere. You're watching this week's episode of Panther Playback.
Circuit World, with multiple locations to serve you in Murphy and Franklin, North Carolina, Blairsville, Blue Ridge, and Ellen, Georgia. Locally owned and operated since 1985. Appliances, electronics, and furniture. Name brand products like LG, Samsung, Dell, Whirlpool, Ashley, Catnapper, and more. No credit check, only 10% down on furniture, and only $10 down on any new lease purchase. Mention FYN10 for your special deal today at Circuit World. In 1981, Reed Nicholson began selling tires out of an old barn in Mineral Bluff. Little did he know that he had just laid the groundwork for the most trusted names in automotive services in the Blue Ridge area. In 1997, Nicholson Tire Center became what it is today, holding the same values of faith, family, and great customer service. 2 locations to serve you, and the Blue Ridge location is currently expanding to offer fast service and the largest U-Haul provider in Georgia. Nicholson Tire Center, Blue Ridge, and Mineral Bluff.
Welcome back, everyone. You're watching this week's episode of Panther Playback, where we are broadcasting live from the Circuit World of Blairsville store. And I want to say thank you to them for allowing us to host here each week. And then also I want to give a shout out and a thank you to our food and beverage sponsors, which is Downtown Pizza and Pepsi. And again, I know that these guys enjoy it, and I do too. I usually try to sneak a couple slices before we head out of here. So I want to say thank you again to our sponsors. We really appreciate it. Now, I've got here on the couch with me head coach of the Union County Panthers, Brian Allison. And then I have also got junior outside linebacker, Noah Underwood. And then senior center, Drake Groves. So thank you guys for joining us here tonight. I know that you walked right off the practice field and then come over here. So we really appreciate it. Appreciate you guys coming over here and hope that you're having a good time. So earlier we were talking a little bit about the game last Friday night.
Excuse me.
Guys you okay over there, Coach?
I'm good.
Talking about how you guys got that big win over Oglethorpe County, 43-0 last Friday night, and definitely looking to continue that trend this Friday night when you guys head to Social Circle, which is a long way to go. It's like 3 hours or something, right, for you guys? Yeah. Yep. I feel ya. And so other places in the region, we've got Rabun County at Oglethorpe County, and then we've got Elbert County at Putnam County, and finally Monticello will be at Banks County. That's where everybody else is within the Region 8 Classification 2A that the Panthers are a part of. That's where they will all be at Friday night. Now, the Panthers, you guys are all tied up with Rabun County, sitting at 8-0 and 5-0 in the region. It's a really exciting time for you guys. Looking for another win on Friday night to continue that undefeated record. So, Coach Allison, I always like to ask you this question each week because it changes every week. What is the number one priority for this game Friday night?
Number one priority. It's really hard to narrow that thing down to one priority. I think the main thing is offensively we need to take care of the football, control the football, and defensively do a great job tackling. So I can't narrow it down to one. I'll give you two.
That's fine. I say number one, but if you've got 5, that's okay. No, it doesn't really matter. But now, guys, like I said, social circle is a long way for you guys to go on the bus. And last week, it's funny because your teammate, JJ Engel, he was in here, and he was talking about how he likes the bus ride because it gives him a chance to kind of get in the zone. And Noah, you're over there kind of smiling. You're like, yeah, that sounds like JJ. So for you guys, I mean, does that play a factor into when you get off the bus? You know, does it play a factor into how you play on Friday night at all?
I don't really think so. The bus ride down there, we usually just go to sleep, and then if it's a long one, we just get out and eat, and then get back on the bus and go back to sleep, and then get out and play a football game.
So you're always well rested when you get there, right?
Mm-hmm.
If nothing else. Drake, you're over there kind of grinning like you agree with him.
Yeah, on the we ride a defensive and offensive bus, and the offensive bus we like to play music, get a little crazy, get pumped up. I mean, then we go to sleep. I mean, it all depends on how excited we are for the game.
So it sounds like there's two different dynamics. Which one do you ride on, Coach?
Defense.
I ride the defensive bus.
I was going to say, it sounds like there's two different dynamics. It sounds like the defensive one is just like everybody's asleep, but you get on the offensive one, everybody's going crazy on there. So I don't blame you. I think I would ride
I don't
the
know if
quiet
they're
one,
going
too.
crazy, but I think it's a little bit louder than the defensive bus.
It is. For sure.
So it sounds like you guys are all getting along pretty well on both sides of the ball. And again, I'm glad that I have somebody here tonight from offensive and defensive. So I like to ask the player's perspective of this question, and Drake, we'll start with you. How is the offensive line and the offense as a whole, but especially the offensive line, how do you think you guys are coming together at this point in the season?
I think we're coming together pretty good. I mean, we're starting to finally hit our stride. We haven't I don't think we fully hit our stride yet, and I think we're starting to find it closer and closer to the end of the season, but I think we're getting there.
That's great to hear. I mean, in my opinion, you guys have been playing phenomenally throughout the entire season. So to hear that you feel like you're just now hitting your stride, I'm like, wow. It sounds like we've got really great things to come. And now, Noah, how about you on the defensive side? How do you think you guys are coming together?
I think that we've been getting better every week, and like one of our team mottos is we get 1% better every day.
Mm-hmm.
And on the defensive side of the ball, one of our goals was to be really physical, and I think we accomplish that each week, and that's one of the reasons that our defense plays as well as it does.
I hear you. Now, Coach Allison, I always like to ask the coaches this question as well. How do you think the team is coming together at this point?
Well, I think we've played pretty well all season. I think a part of a football game is overcoming different sets of circumstances, and we're overcoming injuries, and we're overcoming bus rides, and just a variety of things that will help these guys in life. And we talk about adversity, and that's one of those things that we like to talk about overcoming, and a team that can overcome those adversities the best will usually be the team that comes out on top. So I think that our guys have handled the adversity really well. And we've had a lot, in the last couple of months and even further back. And I think these guys have really acted like men and really handled themselves really well.
That's great to hear, Coach. Now, when you have those adversities, you've got to have leaders that sort of step up. And I'm sure these two guys, since they're both upperclassmen, have really stepped up, haven't they?
That's correct. They have. And, these guys, Drake's done a great job on the offensive line being that guy, and and Noah has improvement that Noah's made from last year to this year has been phenomenal. Noah's a guy that more is a leader by example.
That's a great way to be, Noah. So Speaking of stepping up into a leadership position, naturally as upperclassmen, both of you guys are going to be doing that for your younger teammates. So tell us a little bit about what that's like. And Drake, again, we'll start with you because you're the senior. What's that like, sort of stepping up, and especially as the center? You're the anchor for that offensive line.
Mm-hmm.
So tell us a little bit how you found adjusting to that role.
I think it honestly just came natural to me. I mean, I knew we had to have a leadership role in the offensive line. I'm the oldest offensive lineman we got that has about the same experience as Aaron Helton. Me and him we try to share the leadership. We try to be vocal about it, help the younger guys, help the older guys. I mean, it don't matter, but we try to keep everybody up and try to, I mean, it's just a leadership role for me and Aaron, honestly. I really don't know what else to say.
Well, everything you said just sounded great. And now, Noah, how about you? You're a junior this year, so you still got another year ahead of you. And Coach was talking a little bit about how you've just improved from ever since you started. So tell us also a little bit about, for you, what it's like being an upperclassman, and now you're starting to step up into a leadership role as well.
Well, it's definitely different from last year, looking up to the people that were above me, juniors and seniors. Made a big impact on me, and then I tried to step into the role as an upperclassman, just be a bigger leader and give 110% every day and just get better.
Glad to hear it. I always like to ask you guys as well. I've started calling it your 1% here, specifically for the Union County show, because that is, I know what you guys like to say. Each day you're trying to get 1% better. So what I mean by that is, what is something that you've, maybe a mistake that happened on Friday night, or something that you've just has happened over the course of the season that you've picked out and decided this week in practice, okay, I'm going to work on making this one thing perfect for Friday night. And Noah, we'll start with you because we've been yeah, Drake's like, I'm passing this one off to you.
Well, I know Friday night I had a missed tackle, and I strive every week not to have missed tackles because those really kill me. And this week I'm just trying to get my form better and just be better on missed tackles, and then keep all my responsibilities and not get mixed up.
Good answer. And how about you, Drake?
I think staying on blocks and blitz pickups is the biggest thing for me. I mean, as a center, you gotta kind of read the defense and see what they're gonna run, and when they blitz, I mean, we got to pick it up. I mean, and then staying on blocks. I came off a couple blocks Friday night, and I think I just got to get better at that.
Now, how do you do that? You talk about reading the defense. How, especially with everything that's going on around you. I mean, you're in the middle of a football game. How do you manage to like take all that in really quick and then be able to process it and say, I mean, is it just over? Is it just over time from doing it, from practicing?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I work on a lot in practice. We work on calls and formations, the defense runs, and I mean, it just comes. I mean, it's just what we've been doing for the past couple of years, and I've kind of watched the centers in front of me, and it's just kind of come naturally.
And you bring up a good point there, watching the team develop some over the last few years. And since both of you guys are upperclassmen now, how have you seen the team change over the last few years? And especially now, you guys are undefeated at the top of the region. And again, Noah, I'm sorry, but I'm going to start with you because Drake just finished. So how have you seen the team change over the last few years?
Well, we definitely have like a winning attitude that we want to keep up, and the tradition of Union County now is to win football games, and that's what we're trying to do as a unit and a team. We're just trying to get better and win football games.
I think that's good.
Just second.
Oh yeah, I second.
Now, Coach Allison, you're guaranteed home field advantage in the first round of the state playoffs after your win on Friday night. Are you worried about the guys maybe getting ahead of themselves and overlooking the next two games, getting excited for the first playoff game?
I don't think so. I think we'll do what we're supposed. We talked about it today in our team meeting before practice about staying focused on this game and the same, and building toward this game and building toward next week and building toward the following week. So I think our guys have done a nice job of not overlooking any opponent that we've played, and if we're going to be 10-0. We've got to win game 9, and this is game 9.
Mm-hmm. And it's hard to believe that we're already in that week. Is it week 11 now? I think it's week 11 overall of regular season, and each week, as you said, you just got to keep building off of it. You got to take it one game at a time. And guys, I want to ask you, how do you stay focused? How do you hold each other accountable and stay focused for each game instead of jumping ahead to the next?
No.
I wanted to see how you guys would take that if I didn't name someone specifically.
Well, I think, like you said, holding each other accountable is a really good way to keep each other focused. And if somebody's slacking off at practice, we have leadership on the team that'll get them picked up and get them doing their job and getting better every day.
I think it's just, as a team, we set as the seniors, we set a goal. We're going to treat every week like they're the same. So, I think we don't look ahead to the next week. We stay focused. We game plan for that week. We practice for that team. I think it's just comes – we've done a great job of it, and I don't really know what else to say, to be honest with you.
Well, you're fine because that's all that we have time for, but you guys have got leadership. You've got the technical side, obviously. Sounds like you're focused. Coach Allison, I think you guys are in really good shape.
No, right now we've got some good kids that do a great job.
Glad to hear it, Coach. All right, well, thank you everyone out there for tuning in with us tonight for this week's episode of Panther Playback. Again, I want to thank Circuit World of Blairsville for letting us host our show here, and also to Downtown Pizza and Pepsi for the food and beverage. Now, also, I want to remind everyone, don't forget to follow us on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. It's all the same, at Team FYN Sports, for score updates and possibly a post-game coaches interview, game recap articles, all that great stuff on Friday night following these guys when they go off to play Social Circle. And then also Monday morning at 10:10 a.m., I will be hosting North Georgia's only live online sports show, Instant Replay, also recapping the game that these guys play on Friday night. So I want to say good luck to you guys for this Friday night, and go get them. And until then, I'm Lauren Hunter, signing out for this week's episode of Panther Playback.